"The beatings will continue until morale improves" is one of the best sayings describing bad management. And sadly, this applies really well to the software world after 2 years of AI hype and empty promises regarding the now famous 10x productivity. A few weeks ago, Meta's CTO announced that the morale inside the company is probably the worst it's ever been, and just a couple of days ago, Zuckerberg announced publicly that AI agent tech is advancing more slowly than expected. In the meantime, war enthusiast and mass surveillance aficionado Alex Karp has a public meltdown on CNBC, denouncing the fake hype around the frontier models, while claiming that the voices of American businesses are being channeled through him.
Okay.
So now I have to ruin my weekend, stop binging The House of the Dragons, and post an emergency Monday morning review video on a Sunday because it looks like some of the big tech CEOs are having kind of a bad day. I don't like to mention activities like popping bubbles, because I do believe that, in the words of the famous Wolf of Wall Street, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or Jimmy Buffett, nobody knows if a stock's going to go up, down, sideways or in circles.
It's a wazzy, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist.
But something is definitely fishy. So Meta is in a really strange place. The Facebook ads machine is still printing money, people are still wasting all their free time on Instagram, and WhatsApp is basically the communication layer for half the planet. It also survived the Cambridge Analytica scandal, the metaverse identity crisis era, and the awkward moment when Mark Zuckerberg was trying to convince us that the future of work was having business meetings as low-poly avatars with no lower bodies. But now, for the past year or so, one of the biggest software companies in the world decided to reallocate around 20% of its engineers on the soul-crushing task of manufacturing training data for its models. What could be more fun than training the exact thing that is supposed to replace you? If you are wondering how bad this is, in April, Meta rolled out a mandatory mouse tracking and keystroke monitoring tool on employees' laptops without an opt-out option to harvest data for training their AI models. Following massive internal pushback from engineers furious about being spyware harvested by their own employer, the company had to publicly backtrack and promise the program would only resume on an opt-in basis. For some reason, all these companies just love tracking all our movements. And this, combined with the recent layoffs where Meta decided to shift more of its resources to AI infrastructure, led to one of the worst internal moral crises the company has had in years. And, in true Mark Zuckerberg fashion, the solution was to order his employees to have fun again. And, if you are wondering what Mark considers a fun time, it's either bow hunting or feeding his cows macadamia nuts and beer to create the highest quality beef in the world. I wish I was joking, but this is actually true. What's even funnier though, is that a few days ago, Zuckerberg reportedly told employees in an internal town hall meeting that AI agent technology is advancing more slowly than Meta expected. In other words, they spent the last 2 years telling everyone that AI agents were about to automate half of office work, but apparently the part where the software reliably does the work is still a bit complicated. So what they have so far is a burned out team, a lot of excess compute, and not much to show for it. Meta is projected to spend up to $145 billion on AI infrastructure this year alone. Zuckerberg literally told his staff that they are on a 3 to 6 month yardstick to show returns on that astronomical spend, admitting that the massive shuffle of thousands of engineers into the agent transformation groups has not come to fruition yet. So, the best he can do at the moment is take all those Nvidia chips which are sitting idle and start his own cloud business. The company is still debating whether it will offer access to AI models that are hosted on its infrastructure or whether it will sell access to raw computing power. But this is a really interesting shift towards selling shovels instead of pretending they will find gold. Because if you are to believe Alex Karp, the businesses are quickly waking up and realizing that the whole AI story was maybe sold a bit too aggressively. Karp went on a nearly 20-minute live television detour about AI hype and American enterprise, pointing out that businesses want applications that solve actual problems, not a metered subscription to a very expensive autocomplete that reads their proprietary data and then bills them by the token. And Karp didn't hold back. He said every single enterprise he deals with is livid, that they're paying for tokens that create no value, and that the frontier models have been completely and irresponsibly oversold. He went as far as describing the whole token pricing model as a wealth tax that doesn't help the poor, which is a fascinating economic theory coming from the man in charge of Palantir. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should think that Karp is all of a sudden worried about our future, because he is definitely not. He is pushing his own agenda here, but the good news is that when the billionaires start fighting among themselves, the rest of us get the chance to see what's beneath the cheap hype and marketing pitches. And trust me, there is a lot of hype. After all, people are now realizing that even Claude Fable, who was supposed to be a worldwide security threat, is now widely available and mostly famous for refusing to do the work while burning through your entire budget in a single session. Before wrapping things up, if you are a long-time viewer of this channel, please make sure you are subscribed. Don't forget to smash all the buttons, and see you in the next one.